Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. This is the reading for the 5-1 Human Design Profile, the Heretic Investigator. If you don't know what your profile is, there is a link in the description for you to get your Human Design Body Graph. And, why am I out of breath? Your profile will be listed on there. You don't necessarily need to know a ton about human design other than, of course, your profile for these messages to hit. My intention is just for these messages to be an additional avenue to receive information or to receive a message, because not every 5-1 is a Cancer or a Sagittarius, So definitely be sure to check out your zodiac sign readings if you haven't done so already. Those are all available for your viewing pleasure. And I will say, though, that as I was kind of getting prepared to start your message, I do feel very energized. I halfway wonder if maybe that's why I'm kind of out of breath. It's like I'm forgetting to breathe or something. But I do feel very energized. So, we'll see what comes out in the cards. Also, something that came up for me in a big way through Scorpio season was intention. And being more intentional, and more so my lack of intention and boundaries. So I am working on, just of course being more intentional in literally everything that I do. So I do want to set an intention before we start shuffling the cards. I have it written down because I'm not one of those type of people that can just come up with an intention or an affirmation off the top of my head. And I'm sure it'll probably change or evolve over time as well. So let's take an intentional breath since I clearly need it. Crown open. I anchor into the present and the truth within it. I welcome only what is clear, balanced, and aligned. All distortion, fear, and interference remain outside this space. May these messages travel through me, not from me, to those who called for them, carrying honesty, clarity, and calm. All right, let's get a couple cards for our 5-1 profiles. I hope you're all doing well. Just 3 cards. 3 is my favorite number. That's kind of why we go with 3. Anything more than that, then I feel like it could just get super long, and we want to really hone in for 5-1s. How many is this? Let's see. All right, we'll do 4. These cards are a little thicker, and I'm curious what they're actually even made out of. I kind of want to put that there. Just kind of the way that it came out, I think. We have the Hermit, we have the Star, we have the Page of Cups. Interesting. And then, like I said, the High Priestess here. There doesn't really seem to be a ton of action that's happening with you guys, which is fine. There definitely seems to be more of an internal landscape is the word that's coming to mind, and maybe intention and focus on what is going on in there. But the interesting thing though is that like the intention of that is like forward motion, or even, you know, it's like the as above so below type of thing, or like as within so without, you know, like, you know, just really trying to align your inner world with your outer experience, or like your outer expression. And maybe it's like one is affecting the other. And maybe it's, you know, like it kind of bounces between, you know, like how you feel within, of course, it affects how you perceive your reality and your experience, right? But then again, like your experience could be affecting how you feel. So it's like both of those things, and maybe just really putting intention behind why 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 either one of those are the way that they are. And what is also so fucking interesting is that in the Hermit card, like in the traditional Hermit card, you know, they have the lantern that they're being guided by, right? But it's the fucking star that is lighting up the lantern, that is guiding them on their path. So for these cards, I mean, truly the odds of these cards coming out together and next to each other, I honestly couldn't even tell you what the odds of that. They're big. It's like winning $1 billion in the lottery type, you know, things. And again, like that's why I'm saying it's like you're aligning your path, your actions, again, you know, like how you are feeling with your outer experience and how they like play off of each other. And with the page being here, it's not necessarily like starting from scratch, but there is a playful, imaginative, also intuitive, because I mean, we do have the, all of this is actually really pretty effing intuitive. It also is about being more in your body and less in your head. Maybe even that you are learning to distinguish between ego and intuition. You know, because it takes intention, and it takes conscious effort to realize what messages are coming from ego, which is generally louder. It can be anxious, it can be fearful, it can be limiting. And what is coming from intuition, which is a lot quieter, but it is certain. It's neutral. There's no big emotion attached to it. It's also encouraging, I feel. You know, like it's very move forward, not like sink back, or not, you know, limiting beliefs. You know, it's like absent of those self-limitations, you know. There's also this energy around the unknown, and it doesn't feel uncertain. It feels like you are like curious, or what is the word? I wish words would like come to me faster. I just like, I feel like my mouth moves faster than the things are dropping into my mind. That's why I'm always like, it's this or that, or because it's like finally it'll drop in. But there is like a playful, like curious, it's literally to like realizing that we are truly only limited by our own imagination. And I think just like the older that we get, the more conditioning that we get, the more propagandized, that we get by, whatever, the people in our lives, marketing, whatever. I kind of went on a tangent about this, and I think maybe the 5-2 or the 6-2, one of them. But truly, right, I mean, like the big thing about human design too is deconditioning. It's recognizing how much we have been indoctrinized, how much we have been conditioned by, our parents, by our society, our culture, our whatever, right? And truly, that propaganda, that marketing, the traditional things are built in a way to where it benefits a few people. But it's marketed as this is the only way that things can be, that you can be successful, that you can live a life, that you could be happy, that you could get the things that you desire, that you blah, 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 right? But you have to like sell your soul and your time to us, and we'll give you very little like in return type of thing. And of course I'm talking about like capitalism and corporations and billionaires. And like I said, I won't like go on a super duper long tangent about that, but we brought it here. So like I said, and too, like with human design, I feel like human design will find you, or you will find it, however that works. It's like the chicken or the egg thing, right? But you will come across human design at the time where it's like you are ready to, like, you've already been putting in the work. You've already been, probably having dark nights of the souls, having spiritual awakenings, like having, big, like breakthroughs, therapy, maybe, just really like already digging into yourself, right? And what makes you who you are, what stories are in there, what beliefs are in there. How did you even fucking get to where you are in your life? And was that your decision, or was it, just kind of somebody else's idea of like, and I gave this example as well, but my dad, who is 81, very traditional, you can only be successful and exist, by having a corporate job or like a government job, putting into like a 401k, going to work, every day, selling a third of your life, for pennies. And, the suffering that comes along with that is just part of it. That's a sacrifice for that security. And so me, little old me, I left my last corporate job in 2021. And I was like, I cannot, if I continue to do that, I will die, like in early death. Like I literally just felt like death by a million fucking pokes, that's me too. I'm not saying that like corporate jobs are bad. I'm saying for me, I know plenty of people who love corporate work and corporate environments and the schedule and going into work and, having the security of the 401k and the health insurance and all that shit. And that is correct for them. And I love that for them. That is not correct for me though. Right. And it really took, I started getting into human design in 2018. And, well, that's like when I first heard about human design in 2016, and I was married and I was miserable and I was, in that corporate job that was sucking the fucking life out of me. And literally just like leeching energy everywhere. Like my ex-husband was sucking the life out of me. My dog was getting old, and that was depressing me. Even tarot. I think I bought my first tarot deck in 2016 also. I had many experiences with tarot, of course, but I didn't like pick it up myself until, like I said, 2016. And even the first tarot deck that I got was the Good Tarot, I believe is the name of it. And I went through it and I was just like, I don't have the fucking capacity to to learn this, to like put any thought or whatever, into it. And then in 2017, I put my dog down. I left my marriage. I moved a million fucking times. I wound up like where I am now and where I've been living for the last 8 years. And I started to like unpack, because I'm like, how the fuck how did I end up here? What am I doing? Right? Like, I'm the one that made these decisions. Like, why did I do that? And then I started picking up tarot. I started diving into human design. And when I read about the 5-1 profile, because I am a 5-1 profile too, I literally cried, because it was the first fucking time where my experience was mirrored back to me, which is, kind of hilarious with the 5th line, right? But the first time that I was like, oh my God, somebody gets it. Somebody is sharing my experience that I've been trying to tell people about, and they just look at me like I'm crazy. So it became my like hyper fixation for the next like couple years. Honestly, I've definitely kind of fallen off of like my practice with human design and even like astrology a little bit, but cycles. It'll eventually I'll be hyper fixated on it again. Like, do you have those hyperfixation meals? Which are great until that one bite is just absolutely repulsive. And then it's like, fuck, like, what am I going to eat? That's like where I'm at right now. I'm like in limbo, because I'm like, oh, I don't have a backup plan. And none of my other hyperfixations, it's not like none of those are cycling back around yet. So I need to figure something else out. Anyway, I'm like, what was my point? Sorry. This is clearly going to be full of tangents, but I also I hope that these tangents are landing with you and like you're recognizing like yourself within them. Because that's literally the whole point of any of these readings that I do, is that you see yourself in these readings, because you certainly won't see me. Like I said, I'm a 5-1 too, right? So you won't be seeing me. You'll be seeing a reflection of yourself. So human design will find you when you are, it's like you're ready to take that next step, right? Like you're ready to go even further within yourself. You've been doing the work, and now it's like, okay, if these things aren't true, right? Because a lot of it is like going through, like sifting through your own storage unit, like within your own head, your own body, whatever, right? And it's like, you have these beliefs, you have these conditions, you have these whatever, right? That you grew up with, that were placed on you, that, again, propaganda, marketing, blah, 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 right? And it's like, is this true? Is this belief that I have about myself, about what's possible, about my life, about whatever, is this still true for me? And 9.5 times out of 10, it is not. So then it's like, well, fuck, like, what is true? And what do I do about that? Right? Like, shit, like I've been living my life in a certain way for a certain period of time. And it's like, kind of changing your whole, not necessarily your personality. I mean, it certainly can be, but like, fuck, like if it's true that my truth has changed, or that I'm recognizing that these things like no longer fit into my life, like what does? what do I want to replace that with? Or what is actually true then? And how do I either, like manifest that, or how do I align my actions with that truth? Because, like I was saying at the beginning, right? Like Scorpio season was all about intentions. I had this DMT journey on the Libra full moon, which was like right on the cusp of Scorpio season, right? And I should post that video because I made a video talking about I posted it on TikTok. I should actually post that on YouTube. You know what? Let me make a note of that. So instead of telling you about that here, I'm going to invite you to watch that video. It'll probably be the video that's posted after yours. It's 6 minutes long, but your girl can't just like get to the point really fast. So anyway, the whole like point of that DMT journey came down to my lack of intention and my lack of boundaries, and how living in such a way is like creating or like allowing chaos to ensue. Because it's like I'm not like taking control of it. I'm not getting myself involved in it, right? So, and then I was like, well, what the fuck is an intention? I mean, I know what the word means, but seeing as I wasn't being very intentional, I was like, what is that? And what I've come to find out, because I'll tell you, people have a hard time explaining it. Like especially, and I think like in quote unquote spiritual spaces, intentions are usually, kind of huge. Like it's like, set your intentions around a new moon and whatever. But it like, they don't really ever talk about what that actually means, or at least that's what I found, is that they don't really talk about what that actually means. And here's what I have found out about intention. It's literally just a thought. It's an idea until there is action put to it. So it's one thing to be like, oh, I want to, my intention is to, I don't know, like be kinder to myself, to, I don't know. We'll just use that as an example. And then if your actions around that do not align with your intention, it just like gets fucked up. Like it just, you don't see any noticeable change. If you're like, I want to be, kinder to myself, but then, mentally you're still like beating yourself up or judging yourself or, whatever, or, like you're putting yourself in situations or whatever where you're already burnt out, or that you don't have the spoons to support you in that, right? Then that's not kind to yourself either, right? Like it's also too, like, I hate that this idea is even coming to my mind, because it's like, it's my own, it's a good example. I just hate that it's a good example, I guess is like what I'm trying to say. Losing weight. If you are setting an intention where you want to lose weight, but you're not being conscious of your diet, you're not moving your body, it's like you're doing the same thing that got you to a point where you're like, I want to lose weight, right? But it's like nothing else is changing. It's also like, wanting to like meet somebody, but you never leave the house type of thing, right? And I wish I would have thought of that example first. I mean, for whatever reason, the other one came to mind, so fine. I just like, okay, I'm not going to go on that tangent either. But same thing, right? Like, again, you want to meet somebody, but you never leave the house. You never, go out there, you don't like put yourself out there, but you are still setting the intention to meet somebody, but like your actions aren't changing. So again, it's just an idea then. So bottom line, an intention is a thought with action. And it could even be a thought with conscious action or different action, like some sort of change, right? Because it takes some sort of change in behavior, action, whatever, in order for that intention to manifest, right? And even, me saying at the beginning of this, right, that I'm setting an intention. It's like I want all of us, all 5 of us, because I feel, well, 6, me and the 5 people that watch these videos, because I swear, like, YouTube does not kick these out to, like, anybody other than, like, 5 people. But it makes more personal and intimate, I guess. So, it's like, I want us to like be on the same page type of thing. And it's not like I ever say, this is my intention. This is how I hope these messages resonate with you, blah, blah, blah. Right. But like, I want you to know that when I am sitting here doing these readings, I'm here. Like there's nothing else, unless there's something that to me it always kind of like correlates to the reading. But my intention truly is that the messages come through me. It's not something that's coming out of my own head. And I feel like whenever I do start thinking, or whenever I do start getting into my head, the message gets fucked up anyway. And I just, lose it a little bit. But it's both. It's like for you and it's for me to be present and to be here and like, and also to make sure that anything that is out there, because I do imagine like my crown being open, and not everything that's out there is allowed access to that. But I wasn't being intentional with that prior to that DMT experience. I was just like crown open. I do mushrooms as well as a form of wellness. And there's been a couple times where energies have like, come in, and I've been like, what the fuck is it? But I was not being intentional around my use of the medicine, but I learned, and I think it's the same like with energy work, and your own energy work, because that's all that's like happening. It's like literally performing your own energy work in your own experience, and that being the thing that is being reflected to you. Right. So again, it's like, being intentional of what you want that experience to be, how you want to experience it, and aligning that with your actions, aligning that with your goals, your aspirations. I think it's also too like allowing there to be more room for like play and, creativity. And I really think that it is really connecting in with your own path. Getting quiet enough to hear it. Maybe you are like meditating, even if it's 5-10 minutes. Like literally, I was just telling my friend this morning, I've been getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been falling asleep around 8, which I love. I'd fucking rather get up earlier at this age. Yes. I never thought I would be this type of person, but I'm glad. I'm glad I'm here. I love it. But I'll let my dog out after he eats, and it is so fucking quiet outside. Like my backyard backs up to a pretty busy street, and it's not like it's like super loud by any means, but there's still just like kind of the humming of traffic, But in the morning, that early, nobody is outside except for me, which is like my fucking dream come true. So I've been starting to, like, when I let him outside, I will stand out there, for 5 minutes or however long, and just take deep breaths and bask in being the only fucking person that is outside, at least in my mind. I mean, there could be other people outside, but there's no cars, there's no noise, there's no fucking nothing. And that's meditation to me. You could be working on a craft, it's something to where it like, you can focus your energy on it and it clears your mind. It could be, of course, your regular meditation where you're sitting or laying down and being intentional, or finding a guided meditation to follow. Like I love Steve Noble's guided meditations. He also sets up protection around you while you are meditating, so you don't even have to worry about that. But yeah, like this whole thing, we have Virgo, Aquarius, Cancer. I guess Pisces too, but this is a Cancer card for me. There's this mermaid back here. I'm kind of curious. The Page of Cups invites you to connect with your innate magic and creativity. In order to do this, you must release the attachment you have to doing things in your usual way and having specific expectations. Let go of what human life has taught you and connect with the purity of your spirit. Bro, I'm glad I read that. That's like literally it just confirms everything I've like already said. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. And of course, if you haven't done so already, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to the channel. I know, I know the 5 people who usually watch these videos have subscribed already, but if you haven't, why? Hello? Help a bitch grow. Water me a little bit. Okay. I hope I don't sound whiny with that. Like, I really am just trying to be kind of sarcastic, but then I'm like, is my undertone, like, is the reason why I'm saying that in that way passive aggressive? It kind of seems that way. And if it is, I don't know, I guess I'm going to be passive aggressive. It does kind of piss me off though, that like YouTube only, and it's not, I'm like blaming YouTube, and it's like, it's got to be me. It's got to be me, But what do I do about it? Right now I'm whining and being passive aggressive. But what do I do about it? Like, how do you get out of YouTube jail? Anyway, bro, we have the fucking... Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck, the Three of Cups, the Tower, and then the Nine of Cups. Ace of Swords. Okay, let's see. This was over here. This 9, 10. What is, okay, Three of Cups, the Tower, Nine of Cups, and then the Ace of Swords. Three of Wands. I know you can't see like the Ace of Swords, but you know, the Wheel of Fortune is, I mean, you know, it's a good card wherever it shows up. It's Jupiter, which is in Cancer right now, retrograde. But it basically just says that, like, however things have been, they are going to change. Like, and I always see it as a good thing. It's not like, oh, if things have been going well, it's going to fucking, you know, dive bomb. Like, no. I see it more as like, you know, especially with it being on top of the Hermit card, right? Like if you have been, you know, almost like, again, we've been talking of it. It's been this internal experience, right? All of these cards actually are talking about, being more like of an outside expression versus introspective. But being in a period of like hermit mode where, you know, maybe you have been just isolating or whatever, you know, just being kind of solitary and focusing on yourself, focusing on your path, focusing on your intention, right? That is, you're going to see a shift happen to where, again, like your inside experience is going to reflect in your outer world. And even like the spider web here, like clearly, like there's something that you have been building, that you have been creating. And even, you know, like it could just be too that like you start catching energy. It's like you're paying attention, you're seeing things differently, your perspective has changed even. So you're catching like different opportunities or shifting your energy as well. The Three of Cups on top of the Star card, the Three of Cups is about support from others, networking, friends, celebration too. Really connecting with people who are in alignment with you, that support you and you support them. And you know, it's like you're giving as much as you are receiving, or you're receiving as much as you're giving type of thing. And they want to see you succeed, and they lift you up and they hold you up and they, you know, pick you up if you need to be. That would also be, you know, like an outward expression. You know, just realizing the type of people that you want to be around, or the type of support, or the type of where you fit. I'm gonna have to sneeze. Ooh, that felt like it took forever. The Page of Cups with the Tower card. I mean, all the Tower card talks about is sudden change. It's Aries or Mars, which is in Sagittarius right now. Virgo is Mercury, who is also, well, it might still be in Scorpio. But we just came out of like a Mercury retrograde, so there could have just been some things coming up for you in that as well. But yeah, you know, the Tower card talks about sudden change, which is interesting that we have the Wheel over here too, which is also change. This is more comfortable. This is less comfortable. It's interesting though too that both of these cards are like in the water. This card was talking about, you know, changing, what was it? Like perspective, or like your beliefs, or I've literally already forgotten. Innate magic and create. In order to do this, you must release the attachment you have to doing things in your usual way and having specific expectations. Like, I feel like that's what the Tower card is, because the Tower is only going to affect the things that are no longer serving you. It's going to collapse timelines. It's going to, and by that, what I mean is that if there have been cords or wounds or, just something energetic, though, this is all like energetic, where like maybe you were leaving it open because you didn't receive the closure that you wanted to, or again, it's like a limiting belief or insecurity or whatever, but it's something to where it's an opening that allows energy to flow in and out of it, but it's not doing you any good, right? Like, it's not helping. It's not for your highest good. It's maybe just comfortable. It's maybe just, again, like for your sense of security for whatever reason. But the Tower card is going to come in and just like shut it down. It's like, no, you don't, whatever you think you need, you don't. And, that could be a belief system, a behavior pattern, it could be a relationship, a job, whatever. But it's also, it's like one of those things where like, that the energy of that thing is no longer serving you, but it's like you just don't want to let go, or you don't want to cut the cord or seal off the opening. The Tower card is like, let me just do that for you. And I mean, it can be uncomfortable if you resist. But if you recognize that, oh, yeah, that actually I needed to let that go or whatever, right? Then it's less uncomfortable, and it also allows you the ability to start moving forward faster versus getting stuck in the energy of it. And then we have the Nine of Cups with the High Priestess, which again, it's like aligning to your path. The Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment, your desires being met, truly being happy with where you are, what you're doing, who you are. And also, it's truly honoring yourself and honoring your truth, your intuition, your path. And that's what fills your cup. Like I said, we have the Ace of Swords, Three of Wands, King of Swords, the Lovers, the Hierophant. I mean, all of these major arcana too, the Death card. Ace of Swords, a new idea, truth, a new perspective. New ideas, the Three of Wands. We have 2 3s. Was there another 3? No. Wait, that's a 2. Okay. Literally, like moving forward, taking action. There's a full moon tomorrow in Gemini. That's the last full moon of the year. Maybe you start taking steps towards something. Again, intention is a thought with action, aligned action, aligned to that intention. The King of Swords is literally fucking meditating over here. Getting your mind right, keeping your head, focused, mindset. And the Lovers to me feels like the alignment that we're talking about. It's literally the intention with the action, like the feminine aspect, and not the gender, but the feminine aspect of the Lovers would be the thought, right? It would be the actual like intention itself, right? Because it would be coming from you. It's specific to you and your path and what you know to be true for you in this moment, right? And truth can change, of course, like as we learn more about ourselves and as we continue to keep an open mind, right? Like we have that truth of ourselves. And then action is the masculine energy. And again, not gender, but the masculine energy would be taking action, aligned action, changing the actions that you have been, taking. And, the King of Swords here, like I said, like keeping your mind in the game, really rooting into that intention and your thought and your mindset around, like, what do you want the outcome to be? Like, what's the goal, right? Like focusing on your why. There it is. I'm like, I need, like, it was going to drop in there at some point. The Hierophant and the Death card, like literally the Hierophant being tradition and the Death card being like the end of something. Tradition isn't bad, right? I mean, even like with tarot, like when I was learning tarot, I had a notebook and I had a page for every single tarot card, and I would write down the key words for every single tarot card. And anytime I would watch a tarot reading or get a new tarot deck or whatever, I would write down anything that just kind of stuck out to me that other people were saying is their understanding or their perspective of the tarot card, right? And it's like once you have that foundation here, because they're standing on top of this mountain, like once you have the foundation, then it's like you can figure out how not to manipulate it in a bad quote unquote way, but it's like I know the basics. I have that foundation, and then you can introduce nuance. That's why, like some of these cards, it is what it is, but then you're like, I'm actually kind of feeling more of an expression this way, right? But like you have that foundation of knowing what the card means, but you can allow your intuition to interpret however it's coming through for you. And then we have like the King of Cups, the Eight of Cups, and the King of Wands. I know I'm going to stop because I don't know how long this is going. But this to me, it feels like, going from feeling and, just really getting clear on how you feel about a thing, how you want to feel about a thing, your emotional maturity, your intuition, all of that, right? Kings, highest expression of the suit. And the Eight of Cups is moving forward. The Eight of Cups is actually moving towards the Nine of Cups, right? But it's like it's leaving behind or being complete, I should say, like with the feelings part. And the King of Wands is the action part. Fucking, oh my God. Actions aligned with feel, like this whole thing. I should write this down. What am I writing down? 5-1. Something about intentions. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on that. Kinda. I just need to figure out how I want to put that in a better way. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I close this space with gratitude and ease. All energies are released, returning to their rightful paths. May what was received be integrated with clarity and peace. And my fucking head is just buzzing. Thank you so much. Bye.